Emily, now Evangelist Emily. Give her some love. Welcome. Welcome to Dare to Be Great. Sweet. Evangelist Emily, when did you first started singing professionally?
I started singing back in 1985, the same year I finished school.
85. Wow. Yeah. You're also a beautician.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I'm a cut artist.
Okay.
A beautician, yes.
Yes. Wow. Wonderful. Now, who were some of your early influences in the musical business?
I grew up in an era when Whitney Houston was big.
Okay. She was big.
Tony Braxton. Whitney Houston was huge.
She was huge.
Tony Braxton. They're the people who I kind of used to like to do their songs. As far as Bahamians were concerned, I always knew the Ronnie Butlers and the Priscilla Rollins, but there was a big gap.
Yes.
As we know, in Bahamian music,
Right.
so there wasn't really any Bahamians doing much then, other than probably groups like Bahamian and KB and.
You were part of that era that brought it back in.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
brought it
that's
back
correct.
in. Yeah, and that was a good thing. Give us some love, bringing it back. What would you say was one of your biggest records?
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of hits.
Yeah, you had a lot of hits.
I think Queen of Jungle was my biggest CD.
Okay.
As far as that is the song Look What You Do.
Right, yes.
That was Bring Back the Good Old Days.
Yes.
And a couple of
Yes,
that was
yes.
probably my best.
Yes, Emily, yes,
That was probably my best.
Now, Emily, you're now married to a great man of God,
Yes.
Pastor Wendell Williams,
Yes,
who
I
I know from, great man of God.
You know him?
I know him from he was the financial controller at City Markets.
City
Yes,
Markets,
I know
yes.
Mr. Williams, great man. Tell us tonight, how did this happen?
I hope you have all night.
Yes, we got some time. Tell us tonight
And
how
it's
did this happen.
juicy, ladies. Boy, you know, I'm going to try to keep it brief because I'm kind of long-winded, without having to go into too many details. In actuality, in 2003, I had a supernatural encounter with God himself. I came home that night, I remember. The only thing I remembered was I performed that night. And it could have been maybe a Saturday or a Friday evening. And I remember the following day, I was just going about my usual routine or whatever, and I heard a loud knock. And I couldn't figure out who was knocking and what was going on. And then I was trying to figure out what was going on. And then I heard somebody call my name, say, Emily. And I look around. I know nobody was there because I was home by myself. And then I heard the voice say to me, Emily, I need you now. I need you now, Emily. And I knew, for some reason, I knew it was God. It's something about when God speaks to you, you just know it's him.
Yes,
Like
yes,
you say, his sheep know his voice.
Yes.
And that was all he said to me at the time. And I was like, okay, God is speaking to me. All right. And I just, at that time, though, in my life, I was at a point in my life where I had already gone through a few relationships. And at the time, I was in a relationship that I had been in for about 7 years. And I had a daughter as a result of that relationship. And so I was to that point where, as a woman, I was just tired of looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yes.
And, you know, tired of getting jilted. And, you know, you're with this person and you're hoping you get married, but ain't nothing looking good. And he telling you he ain't ready yet and all that kind of stuff. And so I think I was ready because I was praying to God like years while I was Sweet Emily. People used to see me just performing and shaking and just carrying on, but there was like a void in my life. And I was lonely, and even though I was in this relationship, you know, I wasn't happy, and you know, and so I began to really see God. I really began to pray, and I was like, God, I know that you gave me this gift, and I know that life has to be better than this. And at the time, we were living together and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And so I was tired of that fornication life, and I was like, Lord, I just tired of this. You know, this really got to stop. And I tired of this shocking up life, and you know, it got to be better than this.
Yes, yes.
And I'm like, I just keep pressing and keep praying, and I believe as a result, God was answering my prayers when He talked to me.
Yes.
And so I was really alert. I was ready. And I was like, well, okay, well, if God is talking to me, hey, then my prayers, He must be hearing me. And I think at that time, I think God knew at that point that I was ready to move forward in my life. And I was just willing to give up everything, the singing, the man.
Yes.
Whatever.
Wow.
Just for God. At the point I really wanted to know God.
Wow.
And so anyway, 3 months, what I did was after I realized it was God, I started to pray, and I was like, God, I know this is you, and I thank you for answering my prayer. And it's true when God said that we can't really save ourselves.
No.
You know, that God has to extend that repentance to us and extend that gift of salvation to us. And I knew that that was my time. I started to pray, and I had the gift of tongues from years before, because I kind of like was living a backslidden position. I had received Christ before, but I went back. And I had the gift of tongues, and I just remember one night just praying after about almost 3 months, and praying in tongues, and just praying in natural and praying in tongues, and all of a sudden, I saw this face flashing in front of me. Now, I got to know this gentleman's face because at the time I was visiting a ministry. Somebody had invited me to go, and I was like locked down for 3 months straight. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go to any functions, anywhere, and I just stayed home. I didn't want to go out because I didn't want to meet no man. You know how that is. Yeah. And I know that the devil would try to hook me up or whatever.
And the devil is a liar.
Yeah, so I decided
I'm
I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay put. And